final game of the top 8 matches between CAKEKALOK and Fusion to see who's going to make it into the top 4. CAKEKALOK on the left, Fusion on the right in the orange. It's going to be a good one.
It is. We're actually going to send both the Litwick and the Rolls down in that bottom half while those all-rounders go and take the central path. Ooh, we are going to have a little swing up here, going for a little invade. And if we know anything about Hubfu, it cannot really do much on its own at such an early level, which is why we actually have the Gossifleur to help it out.
Number one most bullied Pokemon maybe in the game. They do pick up final hits on the side of CAKEKALOK, so they're not too worried about that. Small delay, but really not the worst delay in the world. Looks like they should be able to maybe get a pickup off of this. It's going to be a little bit slow, but they're running back to that anyway. Oh, that's...
Oh my god. Look at that bar. The effort point on that magic cup is almost full. And that is just before that 9-minute mark. Oh my gosh, we have a Gyarados before 9 minutes. I think this is the quickest Gyarados we have had.
That is a great sign if you are CAKEKALOK. Honestly, that is exactly what you want to see. This top half was going to be quite difficult once the first power spikes went off. It's still looking pretty difficult. We do see an Emma coming up. There's a lot of damage, especially for somebody who wants to be in close. But Gyarados very survivable, able to jump out of there, able to survive. We still don't see the Eldegoss. Some points will go in, but they're not getting KO'd quite yet.
Oh no, we do have that bounce just to give the Gyarados a little bit of shielding. However, Blissey and Sarah Leach have taken a trip into that Flux Zone to go and finish the job that the Cyclone wasn't able to. Dunking in more points, leaving it on 11 out of 80. Just gotta get those stacks in.
That is a lot of stacks, a lot of points going in. They were able to get the return KO though, and that's going to be super important as far as kind of staying on pace, especially when you did evolve so early with Gyarados. You want to try and push that advantage. But right now, they're just getting chased down. Tempo going all the way, trying to catch Eldegoss. Not quite going to be able to. In fact, the return jump, as we're going to be seeing Gyarados get at least a lot of damage, getting 1 KO altogether. Looks like there's a chance to run away. Are they going to try to turn around? That's so risky.
Oh, they're going to slice them up to half HP. However, that Fallen Puff isn't going to take down that Cypher. Instead, they're just going to try and farm on up a little bit more before we move on board. But I mean, look, so far, it is quite even. We finally have the Swin Up evolving into that Kylo Swine, reaching level 5, which I think is the one that was falling a little bit behind there.
We gotta be careful of their big bounce, yeah, into the tall grass, and Nemo getting caught out. Scyther very easy to kind of jump on and KO. It has a little bit of mobility, but it is not survivable at all. It's a true speedster once you can actually catch it. A little bit more range than I think a lot of other speedsters, but it was able to get out of there. Luckily, not a huge follow-up. Did have to back up a little bit. Good healing though.
Yes, you've got to stick by your team, make sure to replenish those HP needs with the eggs. But we do have both of those objectives spawning. And Nemo is on a different objective, being that of the Umbreon. However, they are able to make it out of the way.
I will say Nemo had to kind of spin around a lot and like chase a lot of people and didn't really get too much out of it. They should be able to get this Regieleki. Yep, they will. Perfect timing for that last hit. So finally they find something that they can KO. But they really want to try to break this before the Regieleki goes in. Unfortunately, the Regieleki will go down. Or sorry, not go down. Take the goal zone down. They should be able to get a lot of points into this tier 2. That's actually huge. 66 points.
Yeah, who needs a Regieleki crashing into the fact that they were able to clear that space, empty out their pockets. All the meanwhile, we do have the other team going and securing themselves that basement Reggie. Another 40 points goes down into the bottom half. So CAKEKALOK are slowly climbing here as we do have Scyther just slicing on up. Gyarados is quick to shut it down though.
That felt like a huge risk to go for that. I mean, you do have sustain, but you've got to assume that nobody else is going to jump in there and get the KO. And the KO on you as a carry, as Scyther, is so much bigger than getting the KO on just a support that you're chasing down like that Umbreon. So, interesting choice, but Anemo still leading the pack at level 10 by a good amount. Fusion, though, does have a point lead as well, so they can just continue to kind of hold tight. They got to be careful of not to trade too many KOs.
Yeah, exactly. You do not want to pass over the experience over to the opposite side, but I think when I look at these teams, there's hardly any yellow dots on the map, so they are just able to wipe out all the wild Pokemon as quickly as possible. However, Spirit is able to get themselves out of the way, a little bit of a heal, as we do have Fusion backing on up here.
Yeah, a lot more patience, I think, coming out once they start to realize, okay, the other team can actually fight back. But as I say that, immediately a member of CAKEKALOK going in, Umbreon, I'm sorry, not Umbreon, there's just too many Unite. Urshifu getting hit quite hard. Big whiff. Not really seeing necessarily a whiff on the Unite from the Gardevoir, but there was just an immediate eject button out. It was only targeting one person to begin with, so it felt like a big whiff. And now you're not going to have that to defend this goal zone. They're just going to walk onto it. I like the spacing from Dragon. They are going to at least be able to literally get in a few points. And now another KO as they're just going to turn and bully. Big Unite coming out from the Scyther. It's going to dive all the way into the back line, but Gardevoir and Eldegoss both extremely healthy. And right now, Battlegoss is chasing down Animo.
Yeah, trying to get the KO. However, Animo is just all too powerful at a level 12, being able to take down that Eldegoss. Top pad has been depleted. Cerealich has just secured themselves a Regieleki, which is actually heading towards home base. CAKEKALOK, it looks like they're going to try and take down the base with Regi, as we do have members scattering around, seeing if they can try and defend.
That's tough. This is a really rough situation, especially because we did see that the time that CAKEKALOK won before was through really smart kind of scoring play. And unfortunately, when you're this far behind, there's not really that much you can do that's smart as far as scoring. You just gotta play tier out. So you're gonna see a different style from CAKEKALOK for the rest of this game. Only a minute, just under 2 minutes, I should say, to the 2 minute mark. Big break without getting very much of an overdunk, but they're already ahead by so much. Fusion's gotta be happy with just getting the space.
Yeah, it just stops that healing for CAKEKALOK there, and also gets rid of that additional flux zone. So Fusion taking more progression of that map, able to go into their central area a little bit more easily later on.
Chase, I don't think you're gonna chase that road. Yeah. Well, literally jumps back. That's a little bit unnecessary, but I do like it. We are gonna get a little bit of a convergence here. Eldegoss is gonna unite to get out, I think that was. And unfortunately, not everybody's gonna be able to catch anybody. There's a lot of like, hey, do you want to fight? Do you want to fight? Do you want to fight? I think Gyarados wants to fight. Once again, look at that. They're just kind of poking at each other to see if there's a moment of weakness. As we're a minute away, you really don't want to expend too many of your resources. There's going to be one very important Regieleki. I think as CAKEKALOK, you cannot let Fusion take that Regieleki.
No, it's a bit of a scary competition, trying to see who blinks first. Gyarados did end up bouncing on him, but once again, they are not actually going to commit to the fight.
I mean, you just can't at this point. I think it would be a big mistake, especially when you're down just slightly. Well, actually, levels have started to even up. It looks like this could be a very, very good final fight. I think it could even potentially happen around this Regieleki. It's so all important for Fusion. That's one of the bingo cards from the Pokemon Unite Esports socials is Regieleki going into a home goal zone. The goal here for Fusion is for that to happen. Already starting to do some damage to it from Animo, just sitting up there, not really getting harassed. But the moment that I think it gets low, we might see a huge jump, and the jump's going to come already from Gyarados, trying to make them back up. And look at that. Fusion says, no, this is not worth our attempts. We're down to only a few seconds left anyway. Forget it. Great way to disengage.
Yeah, really interesting there to just let it on go, not wanting to commit to the fight once again. They just want to hold that advantage that they have. They are at 370 to 120 points. So CAKEKALOK have their backs against the wall. They're the ones that need to make a move. And speaking of move, we have Gyarados looking for a back tap up in the top half, while we do have Umbreon and Eldegoss trying to see if they can keep eyes on the rest of the board.
And another big back tap in the other direction as Cerealich is going to get an 84 into the bottom tier 2, but Rayquaza is actually starting to get burned down. There's a lot of strong secure. Big jump into the back line, and that's going to be immediately the Gardevoir going down. All important, and that Chandelure immediately gets that secure as almost actually all of CAKEKALOK, let me correct myself, go down in the blink of an eye.
Yes, they are the ones that just won that scaring contest throughout this match, securing themselves that Rayquaza field. Chandelure being able to just turn out the lights and burn and shred with the rest of the team. It's now 220 to 837 with less than 50 seconds on the clock.
I'd say this one may be in the books. I mean, 40 seconds left. You need to score more than 100. Well, yeah, you need more than 100 burgers in every single person's pocket. So at this point, I think they're just fighting for fun. But Fusion going with that comp that they've been loving so much, and it's looking very strong. Interesting way to kind of engage in that last fight where they just burned down everything all at once. Final hit from a Chandelure, a little bit unexpected, I would say, especially considering what they have, but still a very good option. They knew exactly what they were doing. They planned it out well. They timed it out well. And they have a huge lead, winning game number 1 of their top 8 set.
Well, they heck. But, oh my gosh, I must say, is this why that Cypher has been banned previously by other teams that have gone against Fusion?
It, I mean, certainly is. Animo, known as, I would say, probably the best Scyther player.
Round 2, CAKEKALOK versus Fusion. If Fusion ends up taking this match, they are going to join the other 3 in the top 4 finalists.
We're going to have to see a big adaptation from CAKEKALOK if they want to stop it. Animo already moving forward, going for stacks, saying, oh, you're going for stacks, I'm going for stacks, let's just all go for stacks. And almost getting an immediate KO here on the Mimikyu. They are going to get those points in. They're going to back up. They might be KO'd for this. Mimikyu can do quite a bit of damage, but it's pretty scary. Trying to beat him out a little bit further, get the dunk, but oh, not going to be enough. Big first KO here for the side of CAKEKALOK.
Yeah, such an early KO as well, and I feel like that is the definition of into stacks. They got the one, they had the opportunity to back on up, but I guess they just couldn't get away from the Mimikyu claws that were slashing at them. Ooh, we almost had another KO there onto that Dweeble. However, it was able to get on out of the way, but with 3 members there, I don't know, it has both of those berries, so it was actually able to survive.
It still needs to a little bit more XP to evolve, which is unfortunate, but Draken is going to be chased down. I don't know if that check button was necessary. It does speed it up a little bit, I guess, but just making sure that there's no more shenanigans. Fusion is up by a few more points, which is just mostly important because of the top half stacking, which we saw starting off very early. But an attempt to invade, and I really like this. This is something we've seen from a few different teams now, from a lot of different regions, where you kind of invade a lot with an Umbreon. They're very hard to deal with. They can really delay your clear by a lot, and they always have speed shares. They just run around, be annoying, and that kind of lasts for the end of the game.
Yeah, they're able to heal and sustain themselves. Speaking of those defenders, though, we still have that spin up. Thankfully does have those Bunnelbees behind, so it could reach level 5 quite shortly, but we do have these mid-birds spawning, and it looks like CAKEKALOK are nowhere in sight for them.
And not even going to attempt it. There's not even that much left for them to clear. We are going to see just some attempts that I think play a little bit safe. Fusion has a very aggressive attempt in the team, especially with those dunks, and yeah, they were very ready for that. Trying to move in with the Umbreon, but you're not really going to be able to get anything as far as damage. Actually, you might be the one KO. You're going to last a little bit longer. They don't even want that KO that much. They wanted the stacks. That's the most important thing for them. They want the points. That's how they won last game. And they got what they wanted.
Yeah, and Noddy was actually aware of that because they ended up grabbing that stray Aeos energy on the floor. Wicked Blow ends up whiffing, and we have that Pylospine being able to pick up that 2 KO streak because it didn't hit him.
You just pick up everybody and dunk them. Pick them up and dunk them. He says, you know, Buzzwole, you can do that. I can do that too. And gonna get a ton of points in. 30 to set up a huge overdunk on bottom. And this game is starting to look a lot like the last game. Almost a 100-point lead before the first big objective spawn. And now they're spawning. We really got to see some, well, I was going to say some wins for CAKEKALOK here, but already Base and Reggie taken from the side of Fusion. Big fight up top, but only Animo's going to be here, so they're not going to be able to get that really quick initial break on that top tier 1, at least with the first regular.
No, but that is going to bide some time for CAKEKALOK to try and get the levels evened out with the wild Pokemon over on their side. Buzzwole, Eldegoss able to deal with that, but I guess considering Fusion had that Registeel buff, they just did not want to push on.
Jump over into the center area. Well, there's already a little bit of a fight. Really good position, I think, for Chandler to be able to engage here. That crossel, nice eject button over the wall, is going to be able to at least attempt to escape. Wow, that Shadow Snake you can see going down through the wall vertically was able to, oh, it connected. I thought it whiffed, actually. I was certain that that whiffed, but maybe I'm just not able to see it. That's how fast you are. Not able to get a K off of it, though, as we've seen Fusion play very careful as far as the not giving up the single little picks to allow the comeback to happen.
No, where they're the ones that have the points lead, they have the level lead here. So it's just about keeping their distance, playing it safe, waiting for CAKEKALOK to potentially make a wrong move here. Getting burned on down, sent back. Ashifa isn't going to push on forward, considering there's 3 members of Fusion up here, and they're on the chase on the Mimikyu, but it's able to eject itself out of the way.
Yeah, this is a scary team to try and push. Like I said, I'm going to call it the double dunk, right? Namaswine says, oh, Buzzwole, you want to dunk people, I can dunk people too, but what happens when you get dunked by both of them in a row, right? That's the scary thing. It's like nobody is going to live that long. through that. So you've got to be super careful, especially if you're the Mimikyu or really, well, I was going to say any of the melee Pokemon on the side of CAKEKALOK, which is literally all of them. So that's why I love this draft.
Yeah, but we can see 4 members of CAKEKALOK up here looking to take it, potentially this top Reggie Alecki, as we do have Nodizal using their Unite move, diving onto that Buzzwole, who ends up getting taken on down. The lights have been wiped out by that Chandelure, which means CAKEKALOK have no vision. The Midnight Knight wasn't able to actually land anything, as CAKEKALOK have decided to retreat on back, but not if Fusion have anything to say about it, as we have the Mammoth sign stopping them in their tracks.
Oh, the big Revenant Ren is going to catch, I believe, two. I think maybe there was an eject button out right before that. So Russell is getting very low, but Zinus has to get out of there. Chandelure getting KO'd. And a big Unite to try and turn things around, but Unite into Dunk, SGC versus Animo, and that bear is not going to be able to make it back safely to their goal zone. Big amount of KOs for Fusion and small amount of KOs.
It is going to trade a bit of back and forth, but they're still quite behind here. Fusion able to lock down that Reggie Alecki, and this goal is left on 34, so if it does crash, has that potential for a big overcap. But, oh, it does! They decided to let it go on in!
Well, that is going to be, for sure, a big overdunk. They just got to decide how long they want to wait for it to actually happen. A lot of times, we try to delay it as long as possible so the EXP spawns as late as possible. There we go. We're going to see the EXP spawn over on the side as Tempo waited until final, just about 10 seconds of that debuff. I don't know, whatever it is. I guess the debuff on the goal zone from the Reggie Alecki. But, oh, this is not a raid boss here. You're farming an objective. That objective is the Garchomp. Wait a minute. 1 KO out of 3 gets
oh my
and
God.
manages to survive.
No way! That Dragon Rush combo to just give the stun, get themselves out of the way, and let the team to come on in and finish the job. Insane plays from Sensage there.
I do have to say that Garchomp is scaling up really well. Every time that we've seen them within any sort of team fight, that's been when they've been getting the KOs inside of CAKEKALOK. So if they can combine together eventually as we get closer to this final stretch, win one big team fight, the lead is not nearly as significant as the last game. They can absolutely make this happen. I mean, the levels in general are in the favor of CAKEKALOK. It's just the points lead only for Fusion. So I think they're doing pretty well. They've just got to make sure they don't get all clubbed together as one big melee team. They don't get zoned out. And they've got strength in this comp.
Yeah, stick together, stay together is what they must be chanting in their heads as they are about to head on into their final stretch, trying to look for that prime positioning in the tall grass, not wanting it to get caught on out. However, we did have that pollen puff exposing the Garchomp from there, along with the Crustle as well.
Oh, that was really scary. That Rock Tomb was so good, and the tough part here for CAKEKALOK is they've got to make the first move as a full melee comp. If they can land one big Rock Tomb, that is going to be almost nearly a guaranteed KO. But they've got to find it. They've got to find it on the right target. If they can catch out that Chandelure, that would be everything. But if they rush in blindly, then they will end up blind as that Chandelure is just going to unite. They're going to turn on them. It's going to be very difficult. And they've got to play patient. They've got to find their moment. But they've got to do it with not too much time left.
Yeah, but you do have Dragon diving on in. They are able to use their eject button away from that Rock Tomb. So not getting caught on out. They are just trying to play with their food here, seeing if they can also get a pick on there, as Buzzwole is looking to have a feast on that Ashiva. But here we go, we're going in and diving on in, using those Unite moves. Revenant Rain going to shred on down. 2 members of CAKEKALOK have been eliminated. Mimikyu has locked down that Chandelure. However, they didn't end up getting knocked on down, able to use that Imprison to shut it on down. And Fusion have the lead with 5 members still left standing. Only 2 on CAKEKALOK remain.
Umbreon is here. This is a chance to steal. It's the only chance, but they're not there in time. Rayquaza getting taken by Fusion. They are going to get that last KO as well. Every member up, every member with 50 points in their pocket. Hundo Burgers across the board, and only 1 member even up to try and defend on the side of CAKEKALOK. This lead is growing and growing and growing, and with 30 seconds left, I don't think there's any chance for CAKEKALOK to make it back into this game, especially not if they're getting KO'd like this.
I think it is safe to say that we have your top 4 here. Fusion will be joining the semi-finals.
Amazing. As their fourth region of the semifinals as well. That's a great thing to see. They're going to be taking down game number 2. Fusion moving into our top 4. Congratulations. Taking down CAKEKALOK, who, again, huge shout-outs to CAKEKALOK. Without a doubt, the underdogs, I would say, of this entire tournament. Making it to the top 8 is an amazing, a crowning achievement. But they just weren't quite able to topple the undefeated champs of this entire season, who have literally not lost the tournament yet.
No, they have come first throughout, and they are looking to put another